Should be streaming. Hello.
Hi everybody. Do we look and sound okay? We're trying out a new old webcam.
Yeah. The other one, the quality doesn't work super well.
So I'm already thinking I'm looking like super smooth, like one of those old film TV shows that's been digitally remastered.
Yeah. One day we'll get a better webcam, or at least a better setup for this. But the other one was just the webcam in my laptop, so it's kind of shitty quality.
Is this dumb new?
Does it sound okay? I turned the volume off the webcam, so it should just be on the regular mic.
Yeah, can you hear us okay? We good? Cool. Hello!
Is Tom the new Renly? Nah. We just found it while we were
I forgot. I bought this in a costume shop years ago, and I was waiting for a good chance of time to use it. But I was like, always forgotten now. Game of Thrones is almost over. Hey, maybe I should wear this to the Ren Fair on Saturday.
That's not a bad idea.
I did say I need some cool headgear. I was going to buy like a helmet, but
I thought you were going to buy a fancy hat.
I don't want to buy a fancy hat. But that's only if I'm going to be cosplaying as my D&D character.
That is fair.
Oh, I should.
The ad's finished and I can hear and see you. Perfect. Yay.
Splendid.
Perfect. Thank you. You got
Feedback
it?
loop. Video is unavailable.
Okay, so we did have a couple questions on my episode breakdown video, so we'll start with that. But if you guys have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat, and we'll try to get to them.
Billy Mount. Yes, this is a Game of Thrones. Asking about Hellboy in a Game of Thrones live stream is a bit silly.
Generally, we're doing an episode breakdown discussion. It's pretty much mostly going to be Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it Hellboy anyway, so.
Yeah, I haven't either. So Hef Williams asked, it's not really a question, but I thought Varys would be smarter than to discuss treason in a loud, echoey room where anyone else could come in and hear.
I literally said that in the episode. It's like, guys, maybe this isn't the time and the place. Like, where should we hide from the Queen? In her throne room.
Where it's loud and echoey and there can be spies.
Yeah,
you know, that thing Varys used to be really good
So many
at.
places to hide. Like, I was expecting Grey Worm to pop out and be like, oh man, I'm really sad. Oh, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
So, yep.
And then Qualker Gamer, what do you think about Daenerys not seeing the fleet? I understand why the boats didn't, but she should have seen them a mile away. Yeah, that was pretty stupid.
The jump scares from a, like...
That was pretty bad.
It's hard to hide a fleet. I know they were sort of behind the island, but yeah, she was like flying all over the place. She was too busy posing for the camera, and she didn't look like...
They really needed to like do some fucking reconnaissance, because it's not like this is like a brand new place. Aegon Targaryen in his original conquering of Westeros started from Dragonstone, and it's the closest location.
It's
next.
super near King's Landing.
It's where Stannis was heading when he was going to invade King's Landing. You think someone like Davos would have been like, hey, perhaps we should double check. And the creators even said in like the background, were like, oh yeah, because Dany forgot about the Iron Fleet. It's like, how the fuck would she forget about the Iron Fleet?
This is the second time this has happened. Like, she sent the Unsullied to attack Casterly Rock. And this is like a week ago in Thrones time. And the Iron Fleet went and wrecked her ships then. So it's like, guy, are you ever going to remember this Iron Fleet that keeps absolutely decimating you?
I know show you're on is entirely forgettable and a pain in the ass, but I feel like within story you probably should be remembered.
I feel like that's really bad writing. I just don't know if it's just me. Is that just me? I
No,
think
they
it's
need to create disadvantages for Dany because she has too much of the winning streak here. Like, she's got half of the support-ish. She had 2 dragons. And even with, and then they're like, oh, well, now the odds are even, now that Dany's army has been cut in half. And I'm just like, she had 40,000 men? Or, well, I don't know how big the Lannister army would be. But if we're going just by Golden Company / Iron Fleet / Lannisters, they said that's like 20,000 for Golden. So let's round up to 30. So she had 60,000 people, or between her army and the North and everyone else. At Winterfell. There's no way all those pyres had 30,000 people. That had like maybe 1,000.
That was another thing the showrunners were congratulating themselves for after the episode. Like, we just wanted to show you just how many people have been lost. And I was like, it didn't look that bad to me, to be honest.
We wanted to show you the scope of Winterfell, except you can't see it because the fog's
Fucking
everywhere.
smoke's
And you
everywhere,
can't see it. It's like, this is the biggest shot we've had of Winterfell. Yeah, you can't fucking tell because all of your CGI smoke is covering it up, guys.
This is why you shouldn't end all of your episodes at the moment with Benioff and Vice just saying, and then we had this really cool idea, and and then we didn't want to pay for a direwolf to be hugged, so good luck, everyone.
Yeah, poor Doggo. He's a good dog.
Good boy. Poor ghost. Hey, Ilned's in the chat. How you doing, buddy?
Elshin L, what do you guys say to the theory that Dany has more dragons? Oh yeah, like there's like a picture of from the next episode where she's looking out over the balcony and there's like two shadows in the sky and I'm like, can't those just be birds? Those might just be birds. I don't think she has more dragons. I feel like if she had more dragons, we would have known.
I feel like she would have mentioned it.
And even if she
Especially
had more
they're
dragons,
fully grown dragons.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where the hell did she get more full-grown dragons?
Yeah.
No, not how that work. Unless, like, no, we're just pretending that Rhaegal's dead. He's actually okay.
I mean, the dragon, you can't just hatch dragons. The only reason her dragons hatched is because she was sacrificing, like, this blood mage at the same time that she was sending off the greatest warrior who ever lived off to the afterlife. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of crazy shit that had to go on to hatch those dragon eggs. This isn't, like, I don't think even if Drogo lays some eggs, I don't think they're going to hatch naturally.
No, I don't think so. I'm just getting frustrated because if they wanted to set up Dany turning Mad Queen so we can make Jon Snow our main hero man, I feel like they could have done a little more to actually justify it, because there's some of it that makes Dany like look super bitchy, and half of it is her fault and half of it is not. Like her getting really fucking angry at Cersei and just wanting to burn all of it to the ground, slightly justified.
Yeah, I'm kind of pissed off. It's like, we've all dreamed about killing Cersei at some point or another.
Yeah.
Dany just has the chance to.
Yeah, and
hey, buddy.
And she's done so, like, and the fact that the North people are constantly congratulating her or congratulating Jon for stuff that she definitely was at least 50% responsible for. It's sort of like...
That was kind of forced. It was like, hey, everyone loves Daenerys. Everyone loves Daenerys. Okay, it's this season now. We all love Jon and we don't care about Daenerys. I'm upset about that.
Like, she has every right to be upset because everything that she's done up until now has given her good consequences for the most part. But now you have her sitting there watching her, like, get jealous over Jon, and I'm just thinking, oh no, she's turning into Viserys. When he was sitting there looking really jealous that everyone loved Dany. And then he died.
I like this phrase, who's more of a villain Sue, Ramsay or Euron?
Oh, God.
So if we're assuming this is the use of Mary Sue as in just overpowered character.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, Euron has definitely become a serious villain Sue.
Yeah.
In that every time they need to fix a situation, it's like, and then Euron kills them.
Yeah, I know.
It's bad. They don't have any convincing villains left because they killed off the
No,
Night. The Night King was the last really intimidating villain.
No. I'm gonna be really angry if they end up doing the Mad Queen stuff with Dany, because like half of it is justifiable and half of it is just bullshit. So like, I don't like Dany. I've never liked Dany. I don't care really what happens to Dany, but I'm still frustrated on her behalf.
I would like
because that's still really bad writing.
I would like to make it clear that the views and opinions voiced by Kaluna do not necessarily represent everyone in the room.
I said it in the last episode, I'm pretty sure.
You've said you've never liked Dany.
No, I've never liked Dany as like endgame. Like I think she would have been really good contender for a lot of stuff. I've just never thought she'd end up on the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
I never thought that was how it was gonna end.
A lot of questions seem to be around, will King's Landing get torched to oblivion? I hope not.
I mean, probably.
Oh.
Who do we care about who's still in King's Landing?
I mean, all the civilians.
Who do we care about who's still in King's Landing?
I care. They deserve to have food for their children.
Poor Varys. He suffers from his actual motivation in the books has been ripped from him, so then they have to have him adjust for the show.
That was a serious adaptation mistake in that everything Varys does is based around wanting to put the young Griff on the show. All of his clever chess moves are all based around a character that they completely cut out. Mm-hmm. And they didn't update his part in the story to fully reflect that, so he just seems super indecisive, and he does a lot of things for no reason. And you know what? I'm basically repeating back what she told me the other day as if it's my opinion. Sorry, everyone. A bit of a man thing there.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. Like, young Griff is a character in the books, for those who haven't read the books, who Varys has been secretly plotting to get on the throne. The problem is, Griff's only same age as Danny, so 15, 16, depending on what time we actually start learning about him. And he needed time for Griff to be like melded and turned into a leader that he thought fit like the qualifications. And so he's been taught history and strategy and compassion, and like Tyrion meets up with him in the books and thinks he's a pretty decent guy. And so he needed time in order to, create this king, which is why he was okay with letting Robert stay king for as long as possible, and probably why he was okay with Daenerys sort of just doing whatever and being the distraction. Like, hey, what's going on with her? I don't know. Hope you don't know about my other Targaryen I'm secretly harboring, who's probably not actually a Targaryen, or at least not a proper one.
Blackfires, they get everywhere.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I'm sad that they didn't include that, because now they have to like retroactively make Varys's strategizing have to fit. Like, Daenerys, like, the conversation she has with him last season about, like, how he just flips all the time, and why did you do this? For the good of the realm.
The good of the realm. Everything I did was for the good of the realm, even the bits that contradict the other bits.
There's no way Varys gets out of this alive.
I mean, they basically, Melisandre, which is like, you're going to, she made a prediction. Yeah. And it's.
He's gonna die. He's probably gonna die by Dany's hands in some way. I
mean, at this point, I was like, no, don't kill Varys. He's got like a cool bromance thing going with Tyrion. Tyrion's willing to vouch for him. He's kind of like, I choose you, Pikachu. You're the one I've chosen now.
Because there's literally no one else except Cersei.
I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. But now first time he's got any other option, he's straight back to, or, just hear me out. It's like, Varys, come on, man, you're killing me, bro. I was rooting for you, man.
He really should have, like, I feel like if he really wanted there to be, like, for the realm, keeping things okay, I feel like the best way to do that would have been Dany and Jon marrying. But no, they also have to throw in some bullshit about how, no, even though Jon on his own is perfectly fine, you put him together with Dany and he's basically, like, not gonna do anything. He'll let her do whatever. And it's kind of like...
I desperately wish I had time to do a video where I went through all of Varys's descriptions of Jon. It's like, he's even-tempered, he's this and that. I just want to cut from that to him charging into the Battle of the Bastards on his own, Leroy Jenkins style, and getting half his army killed immediately.
Yep.
Oh, it's like, he listens to advice, and then him just ignoring fucking everyone who ever told him to do something not stupid.
Yep.
It's like, Varys, have you been watching the show?
No, he hasn't seen Jon Snow.
Yeah, so he hasn't been keeping up with Jon Snow. All he's seen is him compared to Daenerys, and a moment where Daenerys wasn't having a good time. And he's like, no, he'd definitely make a better king. I'm like, are you kidding me, Varys? That is not good research, bro. At least check the Wikipedia. Hey.
We got a super chat from Skiermageddon. What do you think the North will get to be their own kingdom in the end? Also, what do you think Dany's Starbucks order is?
It was a hot cup. It was a.
I said a chai latte.
I said cafe latte, so some sort of latte.
But in terms of, do we think the North will be I think so, because the way I see it is the whole point. This was also based on the fact that I thought the fucking Night King was going to be but I assume that the Iron Throne, whether literally or metaphorically, is going to be destroyed. So I think that yes, we are going to go back to independent kingdoms, because I can't see how they stay a single kingdom. You gonna drink the whole thing, honey? Amazing content for our viewers. You're gonna need to pee so bad. Great, thank you. Appreciate that. It's gross.
What was the question? Oh, the North.
You can read it. It's still there.
No, if Dany lives, then definitely not, because she has put a hard no on that. She's not going to accept anything less than the full 7 kingdoms, and she's kind of a determined woman. I don't know if anyone's noticed. If Dany dies, then possibly depends who ends up on the throne. If Dany does die, who is her heir?
That's the reason why Tyrion was like, what do we do?
What do we do?
Because it's going to be like a Queen Elizabeth situation where we're going to need to name somebody and hope they don't suck.
Yeah, so, because Jon would technically be... I don't know, because, once everyone knows about the secret, everyone's going to be like, Jon should be on the throne. But if they both die, who the fuck is going to rule anything?
I'm so frustrated because I don't like the idea that, he doesn't want the throne. That means he's good. That means he's not greedy. He's not like a royal. He's Harry Potter. He needed to be raised by muggles so that way he'd be the perfect person, you know?
Look at Robert Baratheon if you want to see what happens when you put a person who doesn't give a shit on the throne.
Yeah, he's a war hero. He's not a king.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he is a king, like lineage-wise, sure. That's not a good king. Like, the show has gone out of it's forgetting its own history. It makes me so mad.
It is very sad that they're just ignoring shit. It's bad. It's bad writing. It's become really bad.
It erases its own past, or it says that it did stuff and it didn't. Like the whole, that witch told me I couldn't have kids. Actually, no.
Play the clip.
Play the clip. They don't actually say that in the show.
So
they say it in the books.
There's a lot of things they say in the book that don't make it into the show, but
They cut that line. They cut the Valonqar line from Cersei's flashback, and they cut that line from when Dany. I think they might have done that on purpose, specifically in case they had to like adjust the ending. But now they're acting like it was said, and it's bizarre. But I don't know.
I'm confused by this super chat.
Pepsi Max 807. Do you think Little Sam escaping the Night King is coming back?
I don't know what that means. Sorry. Little Sam is
like
Caster's
kid. I mean, the Night King's dead, so I don't think we need to worry too much.
That was Gilly's first child.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little confused by the question.
Pepsi Max. If you want to explain that,
you put it in the regular
it is
the baby who was not taken by
the white.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
Do you think he's going to turn into the Night King? Is that the question?
I don't think so. The Night King has to turn people into a White Walker.
Why does everyone assume that the Night King is going to be coming back in some form? Like, I'm pretty sure they
no, he's dead.
I don't think the White Walkers are coming back.
Yeah, they've done that storyline.
I think they're at this point they're very gone. At least I don't think.
Yeah. No, I don't. I mean, he was marked to become a White Walker if he'd been given up, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it wasn't like a. If you think if you're thinking it like maybe there was some sort of magic involved, some sort of contract. I think they would have. If that's true, then that probably would have played into the story, but I don't think it did because they've gotten rid of him.
Yeah. No, I'm like 99% sure they're so done with all the White Walker thing now, which is not a good thing. It's annoying and sad. But.
Dany agreed to independent Iron Island, so why is the North's independence so out of debate?
She didn't.
She technically.
No, she didn't say they could be independent. They said that she would let the Greyjoys stay in charge. I think. I think Lord. They don't think they're gonna be kings.
They still would declare Dany their queen, but there could basically they still wanted to have the Iron Chair and like their own king or queen there, but they still defer to Dany. It's kind of like how in Dorne they still have princes and princesses, even though they defer to King's Landing.
I mean, even if you ignore that, even if you assume that she did, there is a huge difference between the Iron Islands and the North, because the North is 50% of Westeros, whereas the Iron Islands is a bunch of small islands.
Teeny tiny.
Yeah, they only matter because they are such effective sailors and they're so aggressive. Bear Island, I think, is bigger than the Iron Islands, and there's not really much going on there.
Elshin L, just a warning and donation. Someone leaked all of Season 8 spoilers on Reddit, just so you guys know, in case someone wants to spoil it here. Yeah, please don't spoil it.
Yeah, please don't do that.
I don't like...
how did that, the script made
I'm
it
assuming somebody, found the scripts or, maybe they were able to, find the location for the files or something.
That's unfortunate.
That sucks.
Yeah. I know that happened with Endgame. I was kind of trying to stay off the internet as much as possible before seeing it.
Yeah, I don't go looking for that kind of thing anyway, so unless someone says, hey, Kaluna, spoilers, I generally don't tend to look for them. Yeah.
How do you feel about Sansa ending up on the Iron Throne if Jon and Dany both die? I mean, I'd like to see... I think she'd make a good queen. I don't see how that would work. I don't see it
happening, but I would really like it because she's my favorite character.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, you put anyone on the throne... from the 7 kingdoms, the other 6 kingdoms are going to be pissed about it. is the problem. That was why the Targaryens were such effective rulers, is because they weren't of any of the Seven Kingdoms. They were just like, okay, all of you are below us now.
I don't think Sansa would rule the Seven Kingdoms because she seems pretty keen on just keeping the North independent at this point. Even after knowing that...
Sansa's kind of done with the South. I don't know if you've noticed, but she did not have a good time in King's Landing.
I mean, in terms of succession, because it's still bizarre, Jon is technically cousins with Sansa and the rest.
Right,
so if Jon and Dany die...
Well, no, but you can't... Just because you're cousins doesn't mean you have royal blood. If you're looking for you have to have some sort of relationship to a Targaryen to be eligible for the Iron Throne.
True.
So, Gendry,
yeah.
Because he is Robert Baratheon's son, and Robert Baratheon is distantly related to the Targaryens, which is why he became king.
That's how they could legally...
So if Gendry's been legitimized now, he would actually probably be the most likely... If Dany and Jon die, he would be the most eligible for the throne.
Mm-hmm. I doubt it ends with Gendry as the king, because that seems...
silly.
Odd.
Yeah.
I think it's just that they're going to have some sort of council with each representative of the Seven Kingdoms, or each of the Seven Kingdoms working as a leader. I don't think they're going to have a single leader. I think that's the whole point. I think that's what they were trying to allude to, was the fact that the Iron Throne in the end didn't matter, but then they got rid of the fucking force that was the problem. So who knows? My guess is they stay as Seven Kingdoms separate again. I don't see them staying as a single unit.
First you change your name to noble, and then you're wearing a crown. Gosh, yes.
Tyrion for the throne.
I mean, Tyrion is not necessarily a good person.
Decent advisor, I guess.
He's a decent advisor, and I think he has a good heart to him, but he can be a vicious person. I mean, in the show he's much nicer than in the books. In the book, he casually has people murdered just because he's jealous.
Yeah, he's sort of a dick.
Yeah, he's been known to be a bit more of a dick in the book, but yeah, if Peter Dinklage ends up on the throne, that's basically just going to be fan service.
Is there any reason why the Knights of the Vale fight for the Starks all the time apart from plot convenience? Well, I mean, technically they have an allegiance to the Starks because of Lysa Arryn. Because of her connection, her son Robin is cousin to Sansa, so it makes sense that they actually do help because they're related.
Yeah, they also had close ties to them because Ned grew up in the Vale. This is why the great houses of Westeros foster their children off with the other noble families, is to keep this close relationship going. Because Jon Arryn was basically a second father to Ned.
Yeah.
So if either of them ended up in trouble, the other one would help them out just because they were, you don't fuck over family. So yeah, that's one of the reasons that they keep sending off small children off to stay with their...
Yeah, I don't honestly see that as plot convenience, because right now their leader is a teenager who's kind of...
Yeah, with
easy to manipulate.
With Littlefinger gone, I'm pretty sure it's fucking... Who's the guy?
Royce.
It's Rhaemar Royce calling the shots for the army.
Kinda, yeah, at this point.
So...
Oh, I wonder what would happen if Robin found out that Littlefinger was killed. Oh no, yeah, he totally died in the Army of the Dead battle. That's totally when he was killed and not right before that.
Yeah, because he likes Littlefinger in the show.
We'll just say he died with all the dead, with all the zombos. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Robin could potentially cause trouble, but I mean, if he...
Sir Laszlo the Great, have you heard the theory that some people think that the Night King is going to come back because of Bran's mark? I mean,
everyone is so desperate for the story not to have ended with this anticlimactic shivving.
Yeah, I think that's wishful thinking.
I think, definitely wishful thinking. I'm sorry.
I don't see it happen. They didn't really leave much room for it, because at this point, they're like, and no, actually, the real villain all along was humanity.
They made it pretty clear, in order for someone to become a White Walker, it has to be a baby, and they have to go back to where they were created and use the same sort of magic. There's you can't... It's not like a zombie bite, where if you get touched by one or anything, that you're going to inevitably turn into one. I don't think Bran is...
No, he just what's it called when you mark your location on your phone for GPS so someone can get to you? It's basically that, but with his hand.
Geotagged.
Yeah, he geotagged Bran.
Yeah. So no,
I can find him.
I mean, it's not out of the realms of possibility, because the showrunners have had a habit of going through the Reddit articles and thinking, ooh, they won't be expecting that. So, but I don't see it happening.
No, I don't either. Camille Valancourt, another super chat. Why do you think Arya says she doesn't plan on coming back?
I think because she's wanting to wander the world and be an adventurer. She
I
doesn't
think
wanna
so. Yeah. I think now that she knows her family's okay, like once she's pretty sure they're okay, I don't see her I never saw her staying in Winterfell, because if she stays in Winterfell,
she's going to be eventually
she's
forced
bored.
back into being a lady.
yeah, I see her more like adventuring. Like
Yeah.
if somehow the Hound and Arya manage to live, like I can honestly see the two of them just sort of like doing fuck all and just wandering
Yeah.
the world.
Not even necessarily together. I think.
No,
both-
not necessarily.
I mean, Arya wouldn't put it past her to head off like back to Essos or something, but
Yeah.
because she like at this point, the absolute last thing she wants is to end up married off to someone.
No.
And if she sticks around in Winterfell, her duty as a Stark is to just get married and pop out some kids for some other noble house. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can see why I wouldn't want to go back to that.
Yeah, I think once she knows that her family is safe, I think if she manages to live, maybe she'll visit, but I don't see her. I can see her never going back to Winterfell again. I don't know. They keep going back and forth with her on whether or not like she is the no one or is Arya Stark. Like the way that they're playing with her like identity is super bizarre in the show. It constantly keeps going back and forth. So I don't know. I don't know what they are planning to do with Arya. They kind of gave her the big thing, which was kill the Night King, and then they're kind of like, I guess she can go do whatever now. Ooh.
I don't know. I'm not expecting them to pull a miracle out of their ass and make the last 2 episodes really good, but I won't be sad if they do.
I mean, I would prefer that, but
I obviously prefer that,
unfortunately,
yeah.
guess who were the last? Guess who was the writer in last episode, this episode, and the next 2?
No.
D&D. Great. They're the writers for the last 2 episodes.
This is how Game of Thrones dies, not with a bang, but with a whimper.
Ooh, yeah, kinda. We got another super chat from Pepsi Max 807. After losing 1 dragon, why not make armor for the 2 dragons that were left? Because she was real impatient. And
Yeah,
why
for one
would
thing, yeah.
And why would Jaime not make a sword/knife hand? Thoughts? It's kind of tricky to wield.
Yeah, sword/knight hand is
Because
like if he wants to, like trying to bang like Brienne would be awkward. Like, oh, sorry,
probably,
sorry.
and I mean, like his hand, even though he can't use it, he could still like wrap it around like a rein without it breaking.
Yeah.
That's how he was able to ride his horse.
I mean, one that you could replace like Gadget maybe, but he did leave King's Landing in kind of a hurry. I don't think he had time to pick up any additional.
But yeah, no, the only reason why Dany lost the dragon is because suddenly they made her fucking impatient. Suddenly she's like, oh, you don't want to leave right
Yeah.
away because you're reneging because you don't want to do your end of the bargain.
After 6 seasons of wanting to be absolutely ready before she goes back to Westeros, now suddenly
Now
she
she's
can't.
impatient.
Yeah, now she's suddenly impatient because bad
And
writing.
Sansa wasn't even like, we need to wait. Like, how long? Let me ask our soldiers. And she's like, fuck off.
How
No.
dare you suggest we ask our generals?
How dare we let our men who thought they were all gonna fucking die rest at least a day or 2? Like, it's only been maybe a day or 2, depending on how long it took them to put together the funeral pyre and get ready to go. Like, even waiting a week, that would have let them maybe make armor for the dragon.
Well,
maybe
I-
something.
The dragons in
might make it hard to
Game
fly,
of,
though.
Yeah, first of all, it would make it really difficult to fly. Second of all, the same thing happened. They mentioned in Aragon that dragons never stop growing, and it's the same in
That is
Game
true.
of Thrones. So if you make armor for them this week, within a month it doesn't fit them. So it's a shit ton of armor
That is true.
that's never going to be useful for more. You have to keep making it.
That would be really hard.
So
But like, yeah, okay, so armor I get, but like Dany's like, oh, because Cersei's on the throne, she can call herself the Queen of the 7 Kingdoms. It's like, yeah, but half of them don't listen to her,
yeah,
Dany.
it's I could call
Half of them don't give a shit.
I could call myself the Queen of the 7 Kingdoms. It doesn't matter if I'm not in charge.
You know what would have been smart? You know what's below King's Landing? Dorne.
Dorne. Yeah, maybe ask
Can
the
we
Dornish for
coordinate a
help.
little? Like, coordinate just a
Dany
bit?
acted like the Dornish declaring for her was no big deal. They're the only kingdom that has all their army in one piece.
Yeah.
Dorne could be
Highgarden's
kingmakers
gone.
at this point. Yeah, Highgarden's been slaughtered. The Stormlands have been depleted. The North has just been wrecked. The Lannisters you burnt the Lannisters to pieces. The Riverlands have been fighting for what? how many years now? The Blackfish was the last effective force there. The Vales lost half their forces in the north.
Right, because they were on their way to Dorne when they got ambushed by Euron, right? They didn't actually have a huge Dornish army. They were on the way
Dornish army
to
should have
getting
just been apparently just sitting there. Yeah, so
Just waiting.
So the Dornish prince that was just dismissed in a single line is the basic, could have been the Kingmaker. But no one's like, hey, let's get the Dornish to help. All they had to say is like, hey, Dany, you could replace every soldier you just lost by speaking to the Dornish, who, without you even asking them to, have declared for you.
Also, you think Dany would be super, super careful with her dragons. One, because she knows the scorpions exist regardless, because they still hit the dragons regardless.
She forgot about that too, apparently.
And two, Rhaegal's wing was fucking, torn. He was trying. He was a good boy.
She literally has visual proof of her dragon's mortality in the same episode that she completely forgets that her dragon's immortal.
Why can't she let her dragon... Will that grow back? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Well, it won't
We
now.
don't know. We don't know.
We'll never know now because Rhaegal's dead. I don't know if a bat gets a hole in its wing. I don't think it grows back.
It doesn't grow back?
I don't think
It just
so.
always is going to have a funky wing.
It's always going to have a funky wing, yeah. I don't know. I'm not like a bat expert, but we have a super chat.
Luther Fontaine. Is it possible the rush is because she knows the North, Sansa, and the Vale are thinking of backing out? That's probably what they wanted us to think.
Yeah, but I mean, being reasonable towards Sansa would be better at that. That would have been better.
Here's the thing. Sansa hates Cersei more than you.
Yeah.
Not by much, but more. I think she'll go with this. I think she'll let you do it. I don't think she's gonna say, actually, no. I think Sansa's smart enough to, maybe come up with a plan for afterwards.
Sansa, yes. If the showrunners decide suddenly that Sansa is so duplicitous that she would have a rebellion, then I'm certain they would write her doing that.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is you no longer can think about what would X character do. You have to think about what do D&D think X character would be, or what do D&D need to happen to keep their plot going.
I just don't understand why they didn't give people time to fucking rest, because even if they aren't hurt by some fucking miracle, they fought zombies. Most people will have a bit of a hard time getting over that.
Yeah. But it's just every moment my enemy grows stronger. No, she doesn't!
Not at all.
She's having to feed 20,000 men in a city that's getting no new supplies. All you have to do is set up
Cut off the supplies.
Cut off the supplies. You
Yeah, do the thing that you could have done before. Cut off the supplies. Do what the Tyrells did. That's what the whole point. That was why people were starving.
Yeah.
If you want to fucking do it, then do it. She's just there. It's conveniently having to give her a reason to make her go right away.
Yeah. All of it just screams, what do we need to happen for the plot now? Not what would this character have conceivably ever done.
It doesn't, at the very least, you would think she would see her dragon, who has holes in its wing, and go, let me take care of that. Even if they'd put, fucking, sheets over it somehow to, fill in the holes or something.
Sewing it up.
Something. I don't know. I don't know what you could do to help the poor thing. But,
just give him a week.
Give him a time to heal. Oh, look. She watches him and sees that he can fly. We're good to go.
She left, literally the day after the party. Most of her army is hungover.
Wouldn't it have been smarter to have rather than having the dragons fly and be really noticeable, wouldn't it make more sense to have them, maybe walk little when they get a little closer to King's Landing, go down with everybody.
Well, she did that after she lost Rhaegal, because Drogon was out of range and everything, and landing.
Just looking at them
Again, it's all plot convenience. But
sorry, I'm very frustrated with some of the writing, because it's just we have to even the odds. How? Dumbly.
Yeah, everyone in Game of Thrones suddenly has to act like a teenager in a horror movie.
Daenerys is impulsive. Hubris rears its ugly head. I don't think she's that impulsive. I feel like that's...
Again, she's only been impulsive for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, I get that she's impulsive in some instances, but in others, she's perfectly willing to play a long con.
She conquered half of Essos with being super patient.
Hey, remember how she had, her sneaky people sneak into cities?
Yeah, she conquered 3 cities.
Couldn't have done that. Nope.
While losing none of her army.
Hey.
And then suddenly she cannot do anything right just because she's in Westeros.
Hey, any of you northern people who look like you're from Westeros, how about you be sneaky?
Snicker.
Pretend to be a refugee and go murder Cersei. Or convince the people that Cersei's
I'm amazed
an
no
awful
one
person.
suggested assassinating Cersei, because the entire everything that the enemy is doing is because Cersei is a madwoman and everyone for some reason is listening to her. Or if you kill Cersei, I'm pretty sure whoever takes over will be like, all hail Queen Daenerys, the not burning of me person.
Yeah.
But no one has even floated the idea that maybe you should just stick a knife in Cersei's back. Because, I mean, maybe they're going to do it, but they just want it to be a big surprise, because D&D loves shocking us.
That was only shocking in the sense that, like, Varys didn't speak up at all. Somehow just completely didn't utilize any sort of, like, intelligence or spy network. Not even let me gather some intelligence for you.
Yeah. That's a good point, actually. Someone's saying, how did Euron's scorpions even shoot like that? Because they were being fired like they were fucking miniguns.
Those things were... Yeah. There's no way.
That's not how scorpions work. They're made of wood, and they've got... Like, you have to wind them back, basically. It takes, like, 15 minutes to fire those things. But no, they were just... And also, wooden bolts with metal things on the end, no matter how hard you fire them, aren't going to smash a ship into kindling. It's like they were firing cannons.
It's hard to tell how big they were, though.
I mean, but they're still basically spears. It doesn't matter how fast you fire them. They're not exploding a ship like they do in that. It's like, that was absolute... I mean, if a scorpion could do that, why did they wait until there were dragons to bring them back into conventional warfare? Euron and his fleet could have wrecked everything, or just having a couple of those on the battlefield. If scorpions could do that, why didn't they have them in Winterfell, just wrecking the shit out of the Night King?
Remember when you did one of your episodes where you talked about how, like, they conveniently wrote out a lot of stuff by having Tyrion get knocked out?
Yeah.
They did that in this episode with, it looking like the mast, when the mast, it looks like it would fall on him and then suddenly they're on shore. Did the Iron Fleet just, like, pew, 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 pew? Alright, we got, like, 4 ships. And hostage, let's bounce. Like, where did they go? Why didn't they just destroy the rest of the fleet? Did they just run out of Scorpion?
Why didn't they land and take back Dragonstone?
Yeah,
so Daenerys would have nowhere else to go.
Yeah, she'd be screwed.
No, they just kick and run, which I guess is kind of Iron Fleet tactics. But if they had such naval superiority, Dany would at best be trapped on Dragonstone.
That bizarre.
If she's too scared to move, she'd be too scared to fly with her dragons. Her fleet is gone, so her and what's left of her army are now trapped on Dragonstone. Jon doesn't have anything to do, but no, apparently they just left and let her fly to King's Landing.
Yep.
Just throw away every advantage then.
It's bizarre to me.
Super chat from Pepsi Max again.
Is there a good explanation for how Missandei got captured? She was on the boat, far away from Euron, and suddenly captured. Convenience.
There's a throwaway line where Grey Worm says, "Get to the skiff," which is a small boat they drag along behind the big boats. So apparently...
She got on the skiff. Got away quickly.
Went the wrong direction. Presumably got turned around somewhere, realised that she'd sailed right into the Iron... Wait, hang on. Yeah. So Tyrion,
stupidly
swimming, after getting hit in the head with a mast, gets to Dragonstone.
I would assume it missed him, because otherwise he would have had a wound on his head.
Yeah, it's a fake out. But yes, no, apparently being on a small boat makes you much more vulnerable than just swimming for your life.
He rolled a 20 on a super wood gun.
That was a serious like Van Helsing. It was, that Van Helsing movie where we had the repeater crossbow. But yeah, I mean this is what Game of Thrones has become.
It definitely feels
like
steampunk.
It
definitely feels like they're kind of like writing the script like a D&D campaign where they're sort of like, and then we do this. How? I don't fucking know, but we already said we were gonna do it. Bye.
Yeah, they've got goals that they want to reach, and they're desperately trying to shape the plot into doing it.
Wouldn't it be funny if the ice and the fire fought each other?
So, someone near the beginning of this said something about how do you feel about the statement that George Martin made in regards to how the books will end and how the show will end. I don't know if this is like a new statement or just a repeat of the one where he says it's going to be a definitely different ending, but I should probably look that up at some point.
The fact that it'll be bittersweet, or just in general that it's
I don't
different
know.
from
That's
the
what
show?
I said. I meant to come back to that, but we got distracted.
I got another super chat. The Iceman 101418. I think the point of the episode is to show Dany is changed by losing Jorah. Logic goes out of the window for her. It makes sense to me. All her good ideas came from advisors which are now dead. Thoughts? I did say that a lot of her
We did wish that Jorah was there to help her.
A lot of her, like, conscience is gone, and, like, most of the people who are...
But Jorah's been gone for a while.
He
was her advisor till like season 5, then he was banished, then he came back, then he had grayscale, so he had to leave again.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was always with her.
So Dany's made a lot of her own decisions, and yes, I get that she's angry, but yeah, I can't. I mean, it basically saying that all along Dany has been a somewhat psychotic person, and only her close friends have been keeping her in check seems a bit mean to the character.
I do feel slightly frustrated that not a single other person amongst Dany's crew was the one to be like, "Can we rest?" It had to be Sansa because of course that's the one person who she's gonna be like.
Yeah, it had to be the rival woman to disagree.
It's the only other fairly
because
intelligent person
now
in the room.
Varys has suddenly lost his tongue. After like, what was the thing he did say? Like, please don't burn the city.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, good advice.
He's trying.
If maybe keep the advice train rolling, Goldie.
Do more.
Maybe say, hey, you're going to work your army to death, and then you're going to have no army. And even if you do take the Iron Throne and defeat the Lannisters, you still need an army. Because otherwise the next person who decides to cobble together a military is just going to come and take the throne from you.
They even, like, sort of discussed that this would happen. Like, they said, like, when they found out, when Jaime came up to tell them that the Lannisters weren't coming, they said, well, now what do we do? Because even if we survive, we're so screwed. And then she's just like, well, let's just head down anyway. I'm sure we'll be fine. She just has this really odd, like... She makes a lot of interesting assumptions despite having nothing to base it on. And it's a combination of her being impatient and her advisors just being like, well, we don't want to make her mad because we're scared of her. Because now we have to make sure she's evil so that way she can die.
My only hope is that perhaps they're setting up this thing so they can say, oh, she's going to be the Mad Queen, and then her not be.
Yeah.
Imagining that she gets to the point where she's super tempted by the dark side, but she Luke Skywalker's in and says, no, I am not a Mad King like my father.
I already said that there's a very good chance that, because she's going to lose her dragons and the fact that they brought up her ability to conceive children, I think once she finds out that she's preggo, or at least capable of having children again in some capacity, I think that'll probably make up for it and maybe humanize her.
So if we're assuming that she is... We will come back to the super chats in just a second, by the way. If we're going to assume that she is pregnant, do you think the reveal will be in this episode or the next one? The last one?
I would say maybe at the end of this episode, depending on... Because I feel like a lot of this episode is going to be battle-oriented of, like, Clegane Bowl bullshit, and then storming the city, and then dragons. Would be my guess.
Okay, whoever put that super chat, that latest super chat, if you want to just put your message in the regular comments, we can read it out because you didn't put anything on. So we got one from My 2 Cents of Nonsense.
There wasn't a super chat, but thank you.
Thank you. Then
Austin LaPlante, do you think a dark horse will end up on the Iron Throne? It seems to be something that D&D would do, thinking that it would be good. That is fair.
Yeah, I mean,
a dark horse is
if we're gonna work on the idea that D&D are going to do it just to be subversive, then there's no way we can logic out who it's going to be, because they're probably just going to roll a dice and pick a person.
My guess is they're going to want to blow up the fucking throne, like, because I think what they're going to try to do, if they're smart. Which I don't think they necessarily are. But here's the thing, because they've been looking back at their previous seasons for inspiration, like the whole shit with Melisandre. There was the vision of that she had in the Tower of the Undying, place in season 2 where she had the visions. I forget what it's called.
It's the Tower of the Undying.
Tower of the Undying, or whatever it is. In the books, there's a bunch of shit she sees. The stuff that she sees in the show, they changed it. Yeah. So that was something they changed specifically for the show. And they show the throne in a room that looks like it's either full of snow or ash. Hard to tell what it is specifically. And it looks like she goes to the throne and just at the last second turns away, and then she goes to see Drogo and Riggo. So my guess is they might want to try and call back to that of she gets very, very close to it, but then doesn't get it.
That would be
my guess.
Clever than they deserve.
Yeah, That's why I'm saying I don't expect it to, but I can see them also going, look, we foreshadowed this in season 2, look how brilliant we are.
Just responding to a couple of things I saw go past. One, I don't think Cersei will die in childbirth because I don't think they're going to give her another, 8 months before the end of the show.
No.
And 2, no, she hasn't been pregnant for like a year because they don't, if for the last time, it's not a year between seasons. This isn't Harry Potter. There is not a set amount of time in each season. That's why we don't know that Arya is 18, because they've proven by saying that Sansa, occasionally mentioning Sansa's name, that it's not 1 year per season.
They said it's going to take Jon and the rest a fortnight to get from Winterfell to King's Landing. So
Right.
if we're going by that, it's been about a month.
It's been about a month since she left, so she should be showing a bit more than she is. Maybe
depends.
if she is pregnant with Jaime's child.
Hard to say.
Or if she's pregnant at all, because she seems to just tell everyone that she's carrying their child.
Yeah, my guess. I'm wondering if Euron's going to be like, hang on a minute.
Yeah, hang on a second. You mentioned that. I was like, how would Tyrion have known you were pregnant when you only just told me a minute ago and he's been gone since before we fucked? Wait a second! And then who's that? Jerry Springer? Is that the guy?
Yeah,
it's very
like
90s.
Maury, like the "You're Not the Father."
Yeah, exactly.
Maury, yeah.
Okay, my American talk show
Jerry
host,
Springer's
okay.
close enough.
Okay, they're kind of my remembering of like American pop culture is stuck in the 90s.
They both kind of did shows where it
Yeah,
involved
yeah.
like figuring out who the dad was.
Your Honor's not the father. So yeah, he might be pissed about that, but
Yeah, but I don't. Give
I
a
don't.
shit
That
about
that would probably be too clever for the show.
I honestly, if they have Euron kill Cersei, that would be lame as hell.
God, Euron would be the one character that would be
He
a
would
worse
do
final
it.
boss than Cersei.
That's fair. Oh god.
That would be the least interesting final
interesting.
boss that they could possibly go with.
Oh my god, that'd be so bad.
So,
Yuck.
how do you think Cersei will die?
Jamie.
Book-wise, definitely. Show-wise, I don't know.
Now that they fucking made him leave Winterfell, I'm going with Jamie.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Arya already killed the Night King. I don't think they're going to give her also Cersei. I think he'll give her the Mountain along with the Hound. I think she'll combo with him.
I
to
think
kill him.
Jamie is going to kill Cersei and then come running back to Brienne. Well, that might just be wishful
I
thinking.
would really hope so, but then Brienne better fucking like smack him a lot for leaving
She's just
her.
going to... Can I borrow your iron hand for a minute? Thank you. Bong! Yep.
You are an idiot sandwich. Let's see.
Someone's comparing Euron to Trump. Let's not be that mean to Euron.
Jeez.
Okay? Euron can at least string sentences together.
Kaluna, to be fair, Euron is in full Valyrian steel armor in the books. He might be more terrifying in the books, and if they follow enough of the plot points, he could still be the end boss. Yeah, in
Is
the
he?
books, that's one thing.
Is he in Valyrian still armor?
He does. He collects a lot of that shit.
What's the point of
Book
making...
Euron is a lot better than show Euron.
Wait, what's the point of making Valyrian steel armor?
It's lighter. Because it's lighter than regular armor.
That's
Yeah.
cool. But do they still fold it? This is like at the end of Fortune and Fire. It's like, I'm going to make it a Damascus steel handle. It's like, why though? Waste of fucking
don't
time.
If two people sit on the Iron Throne, who do you think it'll be? I would assume Jon and Dany, but I don't see both of them living.
You come with it. It's kind of a seat for one.
Yeah, it's not.
If Dany and Jon get married and he goes back to rule from the north and she rules from the south, that's probably the best case scenario because because the people who really really like Jon are all in the north half of Westeros. So as long as he stays like super loyal to her, that could work. But that's not how this show's being written.
I think Jon just kind of wants to die. To be honest, I think he's just tired.
Who's Ben Wyatt? And why does Ilnej think he belongs on the Iron Throne? Is this a music reference? Because I'm not going to get that.
I don't know who Ben Wyatt is.
Oh no, we're
I'm
not.
sorry.
We're not cool.
We're not cool. No.
Do you think Bronn could be on the Iron Throne? At this point, who knows?
I kind of want Bronn to die, to be perfectly honest. I'm kind of
He
tired of
has
him.
so outlived his interestingness here.
Like, I like Jerome Flynn. He's a good actor, but man, that scene felt forced.
Adam Scott's character from Parks and Rec.
I've not seen Parks and Rec, actually. Do you think the Iron Throne as an object will survive the season? I don't think so. Whether King's Landing makes it or not, I personally think it's going to explode. But I don't think the throne's gonna live long. Did the writers just kill Rhaegal because CGI is expensive? Well, I know that's the reason why they didn't have a goodbye scene with the dog, because it's too expensive. We couldn't have a goodbye scene. Like, I was like, no, maybe they're trying to be symbolic, because, the dragon's hurt and he's not riding him. The doggy's hurt, but he doesn't say goodbye. He's not a Stark or a Targaryen. He doesn't feel like either. They're trying to be deep, man. No, it was a budget issue, and that made me so frustrated.
Yeah, it's like they were like, wow, we had no idea people were going to react that strong. I was like, have you never met a fan from the show or met anyone who owns a dog?
He's a good boy, and he's still small enough that you could very easily have gotten like a white husky
Also,
for like a hug.
Ilnedge, why would you claim someone from Parks and Rec belongs on the phone and not go with Roy Swanson? Are you mad?
Don't they have an Iron Throne in that show? Like, don't they like rent it or something as like an episode?
Probably.
thing?
It's been on for a while.
Okay, I think I remember something like that.
Ghost did deserve better.
Yes, he's a good boy. That's what I was like. I thought he would stay with Sansa because Sansa deserves a good dog.
Sansa's going to be in the show though, and they needed Ghost to not be. So when they had the big writing out of all everyone's favourite characters, it's like, and Ghost is gone. Bad writing. Your writing is bad, and you should feel bad.
I love that dog. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. He did a good job. He's a working boy.
I don't get how half the Dothraki survived. Yeah,
they
me
didn't.
either.
No, they didn't.
They showed the Dothraki only took half the pieces off the board.
When I counted it, it looks like they only had a third left.
Right. Well, that's more than
Where
I
did that
expected.
third stay?
Yeah.
Were they the third that ran back and we just didn't see them?
There probably were more. You only saw the people because you were seeing that bit from just like the center point of the army. That you only see like 4 or 5 people come back. So maybe they ran off to the sides.
Maybe they were trying to do the thingy, the circling thing that they do.
The pincer movement. Oh, the Russ riding around thing, maybe. So yeah, maybe the ones that survived chose a random direction to run in. But again, it's not the good Dothraki that survived because the good Dothraki don't run away.
That's true.
Hashtag hugs for Ghost. Hugs for Ghost,
Hugs
yo.
for Ghost. He's a good boy. I hugged my cat a lot after.
Again, it's just the fact that they didn't think that people would be upset if Jon wrote out they wrote out Ghost without Jon saying goodbye to him shows not only a lack of understanding of Game of Thrones, but a lack of understanding of humanity.
Why do you think we didn't see Sansa and Arya's reactions to Jon's true parentage? How do you think they felt about it? I think part of the reason why Arya left is because she doesn't know how to deal with it, because she's always considered Jon her family in a sense. And I mean, they are still technically related, but it is still very weird. It's to like completely change how they look at you. And I think that the reason why they were trying to stick together is because they're like, she's not one of us. She's a Targaryen. She's not a Stark, but he's both. So that's why he feels like he can try and meld these two groups. I feel a bit like there's I forget who the comedian is. Maybe it's John Mulaney, who's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have all of my my girlfriend hang out with my female friends and they'll just get along great. No, it didn't work. It feels a bit like that where it's just super disconnected. And I think Arya ran away because that's how she deals with a lot of her problems. And Sansa tried her best, and by best I meant waited 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then was like, no, fuck this. This is stupid.
I publicly defended Sansa because I didn't think it was fair for people to concentrate on her giving up the secret when literally every other member of the cast did it at some point or another. Like, everyone down the chain could have not told anyone.
Yeah.
Bran and Sam could have not told Jon, but Sam was mad at Daenerys for burning his dad and brother. Jon could very easily have not told Daenerys, but he's an idiot. Mm-hmm. Jon definitely shouldn't have told Sansa. Sansa definitely shouldn't have told Tyrion. And Tyrion
definitely shouldn't have
told
Varys.
Tell Varys.
Yeah.
So it's like, I thought singling her out was unfair, but
she
shouldn't have told people. I will fully admit that she should not have done that, because that was she did specifically. It basically cut from "I promise I won't tell" to "Hey, you want to hear a secret?"
Well, she didn't start out the conversation completely going to tell him. I think she was waiting to see, because she could pretty much gauge Tyrion's reaction. Why is it you're following Dany? What is it about her that makes you want to follow her? And the fact that she sensed that Tyrion was afraid of her means she's not a good queen. If she had sensed, like, unerring loyalty, like, no matter what, I'll follow her to the grave, maybe she would have kept it a secret, but I think because she sensed that there was something there that, like, Tyrion's afraid of what Dany could become, she sensed that and went, nope, fuck this.
Honestly,
It's not a good decision.
You're allowed to hate Sansa, but I just would ask that you bear in mind that you hate her because she's two men in a woman's body at this point. She's being written. She's two rather arrogant men trapped in what they believe is a woman. So it's real. Please don't judge the character too harshly for that. I think she's very much being puppeteered at the moment.
They need to create drama.
Someone did actually mention that I just realised in order to have the Arya fate, and then Arya shanks the Night King plot twist, they basically dropped the Azor Ahai thing that they've been building up for 8 seasons.
Which they've done that before in Thrones. They've built up prophecies only to have it not happen. So that part, right? Yeah. Because they're like, oh yes, Rhaegar, he believes he was this prophecy.
Yeah, Rhaegar believed it. Jon didn't believe it, but everyone believed him. Stannis believed it. Daenerys was convinced very quickly that she was Azor Ahai, which fair.
And there was also the prophecy about her kid, the stallion who would mount the world. But that
so there's lots
didn't happen.
So you're right that it's funny that's not even been addressed. Like, Melisandre acted like she knew this all along.
Did she just need to convince Dany that she was this prophecy person to get her to go? Like, because if she was, that's really clever.
She didn't. It was another priestess.
That's true, but she was the one who told Dany to go to see Jon Snow. Or
That's
to
true.
summon
She
Jon
did.
Snow. I feel like she was just like, yes, if I tell them they're the chosen ones, perhaps they'll actually do the thing. Hey, they did the thing. Cool.
Go super chat.
Arya, just send Arya to war. She can fly and be invisible.
Yeah,
I know,
and
right?
she's got super strength, and she can teleport, and
yeah, like honestly, it would have made a lot more sense if they just sent in a small crew of people to go and infiltrate the city to either kill Cersei or two convince the people to go against.
Now that I think about it, Arya, who was literally an assassin, didn't suggest assassination in that war council.
Nope.
She just sat there looking all bruised.
Yep.
She was like, hey, so you specifically raised a toast saying, hey, thank goodness Arya was here to shank the person who needed shanking. Maybe we do that again. Round 2 of Arya shanks the day.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be Arya. You did that with the fucking, like, Unsullied. In Marine or wherever, the Yunkai, whichever one she did that to.
Ironically, Sansa playing Dark Phoenix is still less overpowered than Arya's becoming Game of Thrones.
Fair enough. Okay.
It's time for one more super chat, I think.
Yeah, we got a couple more minutes. Do you think the system will be more democratic in the end? Yeah, I have a feeling it'll be like a council for one representative per kingdom.
I think you can't really go straight from
Not
feudal system to
necessarily,
democracy.
yeah.
I think that's an insane idea.
That's why I'm thinking like it'll be like the 7 kings and or queens ruling together. It's not quite a democracy, but
that would last for at most a generation before one decides he's more powerful than his neighbors.
No, inevitably war is just going to keep happening. That's just how it works. Like it doesn't just stop.
Yeah.
Unless there's fucking zombies.
Yeah.
And now they're gone.
No, they're gone. So I guess back to war.
Let's see.
Maybe Jaqen H'ghar and Arya will team up.
Oh Jesus! Don't bring Jaqen back again. Good lord.
Talking of overused characters.
Yeah. I get why they had him in Bravos because he was a recognizable actor, and for an audience watching, that makes more sense to see somebody familiar like that. But bringing him back again makes no sense.
Everyone wants everyone to be Jaqen H'ghar. Oh, Varys was Jaqen H'ghar in disguise. Syrio Farrell was Jaqen H'ghar. It's like to the point when you establish that a man can change his face and body shape to be anything he wants, then yes, you do deal with this issue that retroactively anyone could be him.
Do you think the Children of the Forest might become an inevitable enemy in the books or the show? Because in the show, I'm pretty sure there's none left.
They did. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they all died.
Dead. They specifically said, we are the last of the Children of the Forest.
Yep.
My spine.
And they exploded.
Being stabbed, my only weakness. Seeing as Bronn mentioned that he was done with fighting but not necessarily done with killing, does that mean you will see him show up in King's Landing? I suspect that was just him tough-talking Tyrion and Jaime. And that's basically him saying, I'm done with being your soldier, but if you don't give me what I want, I will shoot you. I'm pretty sure that was that was all that meant.
I feel like that was entirely pointless. They really didn't even need to do that. Like, it's 2 scenes. That's 2 scenes where they needed to do this, and it was completely superfluous because these characters are probably going to die anyway.
Yep.
The only thing I can think of is maybe that's like the final nail on the head for Jaime killing Cersei because she was willing to kill him. I guess.
Ghost as Jaqen H'ghar. Yes, definitely. Or the whole time. Especially when he shared a bed with Jon. Jaqen H'ghar was super into Kit Harington.
Which was worse, episode 3 or 4? I think 4, because 4 felt oddly paced. The first half was really slow when they took their time.
3
and
at least
had
had some amazing scenes that if you take on their own and don't think about what any of them mean are actually really, really good.
Like the last 5 minutes.
3 didn't even have that. The only
Yeah.
halfway cool scene was when Rhaegar got shot and I was too busy being sad about it to appreciate it.
Yeah, I think 3 was only... I think the reason 3 was better written is because it was just one really, really long battle, and that's a lot easier to, like, you know, write down a script for and adjust and keep consistent. But because they were, you know, shuffling around a lot with 4, where they needed to have, you know, the first half be, like, introspective and mourning the dead, but then also still fighting, now we're moving into trying to get down to King's Landing. Oh, shit, stuff goes bad. The pacing, it feels so rough in that episode. It did not work at all. I think the only reason 3 was better is because it was slightly more cohesive. I didn't like a lot of what happened in 3, but it, at least from just a writing perspective, it felt slightly more cohesive.
Apparently there's a theory that Arya never came back from Essos. She's been a faceless man this entire time.
Like it's the waif in disguise. Everyone always keeps saying that.
That doesn't make... I mean, she...
Like the
Did she read Arya's mind and get all the inner family info? I mean, I know they do magic and stuff, but... I feel like the Wraith would have been better at her job.
Yeah.
And, like, smarter in some of the decisions Arya's made.
I would think that. I don't know. Because if it was the waif, she wouldn't have fucking talked to Nymeria. I doubt.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
They would talk to
Well,
Nymeria.
in their defense, the person who brought it up was saying that they would have preferred it if that was the case. He didn't say they thought it was the case.
That's fair, I guess. All right.
So what do you think these spin-offs will be, basically? What do you
I think we've gone over this.
We've gone over what we hoped they would be.
What
What
we
we
think
think they will
they'll
be is another matter, because I don't have any faith in the people in charge anymore.
It's not going to be D&D, as far as I know. I know they're concentrating on their Civil War fan fiction history thing,
totally
which
not
is
gonna be super
another
awkward.
thing to talk about at another time, because I am not
I
watching
am
that.
I am never touching that.
Because
with a
I
10-foot
never
barge pole.
want to know. That's gonna be bad. But if other people are handling it, I feel like it makes more sense that they're gonna want to try and have as much material to work with as possible. So I feel like they're gonna stick with stuff that they can either pull from the books that are already written, or stuff that's in the process of being written that Martin has already put out, like the Duncan Egg stories, the Fire and Blood stuff, like about the Blackfire Rebellion.
Duncan Egg would be a weird tonal shift after Game of Thrones, because that's written with more conventional storytelling in mind, and that Duncan Egg are both guaranteed to live because when they die.
Yeah.
So Dunk does throw himself into a lot of situations where George Martin, if he was actually if he was in the Song of Ice and Fire, he'd be super dead because George Martin hates heroes, he hates honor, or he likes to punish honor, because honor will always get you screwed over. So when I was reviewing the Knights of the Seven Kingdoms, I did specifically say like that Dunk is like a much more traditional hero than you'd expect from George R. R. Martin. So I think if they were to adapt that, people would find it a strange shift after this. I mean, this was my thoughts before last couple of seasons came out, because now, things don't have consequences the way they used to. So maybe that my opinion there is a bit outdated now.
Also, no matter what they do, in some capacity, we know what's going to happen. No matter what we do, they're going to have a prequel. So you know how the story ends, so it's going to suffer from probably a lot of the same problems that the Star Wars prequel suffered from, in that they have an ending they have to get to, and hopefully they write it okay. Also, someone said, that show is still in production. I thought it got axed and D&D moved to Star Wars. Oh god, I hope not. Please, no!
What?
Please tell me they're not going to work on the next 3 Star Wars movies. They announced another 3 Star Wars movies are being made.
Did they? I know that Rian Johnson's trilogy was uncancelled.
No, yeah, they said they made that like announcement for like all the Marvel Disney stuff, because Disney fucking owns everything. They said that there's going to be another 3 Star Wars movies.
Like
they haven't
soon?
They haven't said what they are. Like in 2026.
Oh, so they're not going to be episodes 9, no, 10, 11, and 12.
We don't know. They've not confirmed what they are. They only said that there are going to be.
Okay,
3
well
more
no,
Star
there'll
Wars
be spin-offs then. There'll be like the
Mandalorian. Or
well, no, the
whatever.
Mandalorian's a TV show. No, what is the Mandalorian again? That's like a straight for TV miniseries or something.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Either way, I really hope D&D don't touch Star Wars because that's gonna make me sad.
Because they're not good writers. They're just not. They're not
They're
good
really
writers.
not.
They decent at
Halfway decent adaptation.
Yeah, they can turn one of the greatest writers of this century into a good TV show. They can't write for shit on their own. Anyway. Cool, we done?
Yeah, alright.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Sorry this one was a bit depressing. We just didn't have anything, we just didn't have anything
This
good to
whole
say,
season,
really.
I'm
Sorry.
just ready for the season to be done.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready to write some essays and talk about my feelings. That are mostly disappointment. But yeah, so join us next week when we do episode 5, whatever the title will be, because we never know we never know even when we click the episode, because they don't change it until after it's premiered, which is always really frustrating when I'm writing my scripts, because I just have to put to be determined. I don't know what it is half the time. All right, so we'll see you guys next week. Everybody have a good weekend, and yeah, see ya.
Good to see you guys.
Bye.